Good afternoon, all. Thank you very much for joining us here today in the Oval Office. And I want to speak directly to the millions of American families who are working hard, paying their bills, raising kids, and trying to buy a home, but finding it harder and harder every year. Matter of fact, it seems like things are getting harder every day, not just buying our homes, but just everyday cost of living seems to be going up. Seems to be going up. And it's in suburbs in towns across the country, from Texas to Charlotte to Atlanta to Phoenix and Boston. It really doesn't matter what city. Young families, teachers, nurses, veterans, and small business owners are being priced out of the neighborhoods where they grew up. They're competing not just against each other, but against billion-dollar funds, hedge funds, and corporate investors who buy homes in bulk, turn them into rentals, and drive up prices everywhere for everyone. That's just not right. Homes are for families, not portfolios. And it has been this administration's policy since the beginning that, and you've heard me talk about the home speculators that comb the market and dump money on the people to buy homes. They'll come into cities not knowing anything at all about the community, not knowing anything at all, but just all they see is money signs. They throw money to desperate people who may be in the need of selling a home for whatever reason, and then they in turn purchase the home and then flip it, oftentimes to rentals, and that hurts the economy. That hurts the city. A lot of it's happening in my hometown back in Texas. A lot of it's happening, and it needs to come to a stop. I realize that people sometimes fall upon hard times, but there are programs out there to assist you in getting through these hard times without going to a speculator whose only interest, and I'm not saying everyone's that way. There are people out there who buy these homes and flip them that are legit, and this is not addressed addressed toward them. But there are the ones out there who see money, and that's what they want, is to flip these homes for money. They could care less about the neighborhood. They could care less about the community, the city. They just want to flip. And so when this administration came into power, one of the things I tasked our staff with was to find a way to slow this rate down. Now, I'm not going to say here today that I'm going to restrict how you sell your home. That's unconstitutional, and I would never do that. But what I want to do is make it more difficult for the home speculators to do this. If you're going to be purchasing a home or a home speculator, you should be a licensed real estate agent. You should have all the training and the state certification to do that. End of the line. Period. That's the way it should be. Secondly, there should be a set period of time that you have possession of that home. And there should be a period of time, and it should be, if you're going to buy it, it should be a matter of years. Not just buying it today and then fixing it up and then flipping it and selling it or renting it out. That's got to stop. That's got to stop. And this administration is going to do what it can legally to ensure that that happens and protect our homeowners. We've got to do that. We let Wall Street treat the single family home like like just another asset class, to be scooped up, flipped, or rented out at an inflated price. The result? Fewer homes available for first-time buyers, higher costs for working families, and entire communities losing the stability that comes from people owning their own homes. This has to stop. You ever heard me say my administration is committed to putting families first? That means banning or severely restricting large corporations and institutional investors from buying single-family homes in bulk, especially in suburban and middle-class neighborhoods. We're also looking at cutting unnecessary red tape and regulatory barriers that make it too expensive and too slow to build the modest, attainable homes families need. And we're also going to give first-time buyers and owner occupants priority through stronger down payment assistance, tax incentives, and policies that reward people who live in the homes they buy. We already started working with states and local communities to protect neighborhoods from being turned into corporate rental portfolios. And that's what I want to stop. I want to stop neighborhoods from becoming corporate wastelands for lease signs every block. That doesn't help anybody. And that doesn't help the homeowner. It sure doesn't help the community. So that's got to stop. You know, and like I said, this isn't about stopping all investment or rentals. It's about stopping the financialization of the American home and making sure hardworking families can afford to own the place where they raise their kids, build memories, and put down roots. You know, to every family watching today, we see you, we hear you, and we're going to keep fighting until home ownership is within reach. Again, not just for the wealthy, but for the teachers, the nurses, the firefighters, and working parents who make this country run. Every single one of these people that I just mentioned are the backbone to this country, and they deserve a decent place to live. They work hard. They have saved their down payment. They deserve to get a house and that they can afford, and deserve not to be influenced by these house speculators coming in and trying to pull the rug out from underneath them. So we're going to get started here. We're going to usher the press out here, but we're going to get started with a discussion about, I want to hear from you homeowners. There's a few of you today, and also some real estate folks here today as well. And I got my HUD secretary here, and we're going to sit down and we're going to talk. We're going to have some frank discussions about this. Because like I said, I'm not going after home speculators, but what I am going after are the people who take advantage of the middle class. Under my administration, that ends. Thank you guys very much. Thank you, thank you.